Beside a river which flows through the dark forests of central India stands an old, majestic rose apple tree. Juicy red and pink apples cling to the branches, while the blowing wind sheds a few to the ground. From the top of this tree, I, Karadi the bear, hear monkeys chattering. I can see naughty Pink Face swinging from branch to branch, teasing the other monkeys while eating apples. He reminds me of his father, Red Face, who in his young days was just as naughty as him. I'm reminded of the time when Red Face outsmarted a crocodile that lurked in these river waters. Would you like to hear about that? In those days, many hungry crocodiles used to swim in the river. Red Face was always full of pranks. He would sometimes climb to the top branches of the tree and throw some ripe apples at the hungry crocodiles, trying to annoy them. Now, we all know that crocodiles do not eat fruit, don't we? But one day, Red Face threw an apple at a crocodile who, as always, was sleeping with his mouth open. The apple landed in the crocodile's mouth. Aroused, he crunched the apple and loved the taste of it.
Hurrah!
Thought Jagged Jaws, for that was the crocodile's name. His jaws were huge and ugly. When opened, they revealed 2 rows of sharp, pointed teeth.
If the monkey with the red face became my friend,
Thought Jagged Jaws,
I would never have to be hungry again. Whenever I am too lazy to hunt for food, he can feed me the rose apples.
So Jagged Jaws swam up to the tree and began to cry. Huge crocodile tears fell from his eyes. Red Face, listening to his wails, said,
Stop! Stop that, you beastly crocodile. Why do you cry near my rose apple tree?
Oh, my dear friend, please do not be unkind. For days I have not eaten a morsel of food. My stomach growls, my head spins, and I fear that I am going to die. Would you, out of the kindness of your heart, throw me a few rose apples and save me from death?
Saying this, Jagged Jaws once again wept more crocodile tears.
Hush, hush.
Red silenced Jagged Jaws.
Wipe those tears. If you come by my tree every day at noon and call out my name, I will throw you some rose apples. By the way, my name is Red Face.
I shall be your friend forever. Never will I forget this kindness. Thank you so much.
From that day on, Jagged Jaws would swim to the tree at noon. Red Face, true to his word, would throw down a few apples. The crocodile would eat the fruit and sit for a long time chatting with Red Face. He would then swim back to his home. This went on for many days. One day, Red Face threw down too many apples. On seeing so many, Jagged Jaws said,
Red Face, would you mind if I took some of this fruit home to my wife?
please do. You are now my friend, and so is your wife.
Delighted, the crocodile swam home hurriedly to share with his beloved the fruit that he had been enjoying all these days. Now, in all my life as a bear, I have never seen a meaner looking crocodile than Mrs. Jagged Jaws. Her huge, ugly jaws were always clamped shut, and her lips turned up in a wicked smile. She kept her beady eyes closed most of the time, and when they opened, sent shivers up Jagged Jaw's spine. Sinister and evil, she was the most powerful crocodile that swam the river.
Sweetheart, look what I have brought for you.
On hearing her husband call out to her, Mrs. Jagged Jaws eagerly came out.
Here, eat these delicious rose apples, my dear.
On seeing the apples, her eyes blazed with anger. Her lips quivered. She would have hissed if she could. Jagged Jaws trembled.
Apples! Apples! Is that what you have brought me? Are you out of your mind, or did you think I was a vegetarian?
Lashing her powerful tail, Mrs. Jagged Jaws grabbed one apple and threw it at her husband.
No! No! Stop! Stop! Please taste one, and I promise that you will ask for more.
Swimming towards her, Jagged Jaws thrust an apple into his wife's snarling mouth. As her sharp teeth sank into the fruit, she could feel its delicious juice slide down her tongue and into her throat. The sweetness of the rose apple made her gasp in delight. Greedily, she grabbed all the apples from her husband and gobbled them up.
Oh my! Oh my!
She sighed, smacking her lips.
Go, bring me some more. Where did you find this luscious fruit?
Jagged Jaws then explained to his wife the way he had befriended Redface. As Mrs. Jagged Jaws listened to her husband, her eyes began to sparkle wickedly.
Aha!
She thought,
How wonderful! How divine these apples taste! A creature who always eats this sweet fruit must surely have a heart that is much sweeter. Oh, how I would love to sink my teeth into the heart of that red-faced monkey.
as she thought this, she began to drool from the corners of her mouth.
My lord?
She called to her husband. Jagged Jaws startled. In all the time that he had been married, his wife had never addressed him thus. He sensed that her evil mind was plotting something wicked. With his heart beating fast, he asked,
Yes, dear.
My lord,
sang the missus again.
forget about the rose apples. Go to your friend. What did you say his name was? Crimson Face? No, Red Face. Yes, Red Face. I want to meet him. Invite this precious friend of yours over to dinner.
Saying this, she laughed, an eerie cackle.
And guess what we are having for dinner? Apple-flavored monkey's heart.
Jagged Jaws shivered. He begged. He pleaded. He cried. He wept real tears. But his wife was not moved.
Chop! You have always obeyed my wishes before. What is the matter with you now? Listen to me, and listen well. If you do not bring the creature's heart for me to eat, I promise I shall lie here and fast to death.
Realizing how determined his wife was, poor Jagged Jaws was miserable.
What shall I do now? How can I kill Redface, my good friend? I have to come up with a plan.
The next morning, well before noon, Jagged Jaws swam over to Redface's tree.
What brings you here so early, Jagged? And why are you looking so sad?
Red, my wife and I had a fight yesterday. She scolded me, called me an ungrateful friend. You have been so generous to me, but I have not invited you to my home even once. Her words deeply shamed me. I realize that I have been selfish and greedy. Please forgive me. I would like you to come to my house for dinner tonight. My wife will never forgive me if I do not bring you.
That is kind of you, Jagged. But you know that I live on land while your house is in the water. How can I come?
My home is on a lovely stretch of sand on the other side of the river. If you hop on my back, I will safely take you there and return you to your home after dinner. There is nothing to fear.
Redface considered the idea for a while.
Okay, Jagged. I accept your invitation. Why don't you come by later in the evening and you can take me to your house?
Delighted that his plan was working, Jagged was back at the tree just as evening set in. With Red seated on his back, Jagged started swimming through the dark waters of the river at a great speed. The waters roared and rushed by them. Red was terrified. He clutched onto Jagged's neck tightly.
Hey, my friend, take it easy. Please, go slow. My whole body is drenched with water.
Hearing Red's terrified cries, Jagged began to think.
Red is completely in my power. If he slips off my back and falls into these waters, he will surely die. Why don't I tell him the real reason for the invitation to my house? I wonder what he will do.
With this in mind, Jagged Jaws said,
My friend, if you must know, I am not taking you for dinner to my home, but as dinner to my wife.
Saying this, Jagged Jaws dived down into the water. When he came up, Red sputtered and choked.
Jagged! Why are you doing this to me?
It is like this, Red. My wife, after tasting those delicious rose apples, began to show an uncontrollable craving for your heart. She thinks that it must be even more delicious than the rose apples.
Remember, I told you before that Redface was a smart monkey. Even though terrified, he acted calmly. Putting on an air of bravery, he said,
Oh dear, what a pity. Why didn't you say so before? Then I would have brought with me my other heart, which is so wonderfully sweet. I usually keep that tucked away in a hollow of my tree.
Jagged panicked.
Oh God, what have I done now?
He thought.
Why risk the wife's anger by bringing her a tasteless heart? Better go back and get the tasty heart.
Aloud he said,
Dear Redface, how good you are. Yes, I wish you had told me about this earlier. Well, never mind. I will take you back to your tree. Quickly bring down the other heart.
Turning around, Jagged Jaws raced back in the direction of the rose apple tree, with poor Red silently chanting 100 prayers to his gods. As soon as Jagged Jaws reached the river's edge, Redface quickly leapt off his back and with swift leaps and bounds went up his apple tree. Looking down, he could see Jagged Jaws slashing his tail in the water impatiently.
Hurry up, Red. What is taking you so long? It is already very late. My wife is going to be furious with me. Hand me the other heart so that I may go to her.
From up the tree, Redface laughed loudly.
You heartless villain! You stupid, thick-skinned reptile, ungrateful wretch! Fool! Does any creature in the world possess 2 hearts? Go home and don't dare come near my rose apple tree ever again.
Redface threw a rotten apple at Jagged Jaws and sang from the top of the tree.
1 heart, 2 hearts, 3 hearts, 4. Mr. Jagged Jaws, would you like some more? 1 heart, 2 hearts, 3 hearts, 4. Mr. Jagged Jaws, would you like some more? You knave, you fool, you ungrateful fellow. I never thought you would stoop so low. 1 heart, 2 hearts, 3 hearts, 4. Mr. Jagged Jaws, would you like some more? Choosing a friend for a friend, turn folk can never be trusted again.
1 heart, 2 hearts, 3 hearts, 4. Mr. Jagged Jaws, would you like some more?
You knave, you fool, you ungrateful fellow. I never thought you would stoop so low.
1 heart, 2 hearts, 3 hearts, 4. Mr. Jagged Jaws, would you like some more? 1 heart, 2 hearts, 3 hearts, 4. Mr. Jagged Jaws, would you like some more?
By now, from the tree, all the monkeys had started to pelt stones and rotten fruits at Jagged Jaws. Lost and crestfallen, he slinked away, and so did the other crocodiles, one by one. Ever since that day, the river waters have not seen any more crocodiles. With each new season, the rose apple tree proudly sways her branches with the delicious fruit, And I, Karadi, delight in watching the monkeys prance around.
Hello, children. Remember me, your friend Karadi the bear? Today's story is the story of Kauwa and Lomri. Kauwa is a crow and Lomri is a fox. A fox, like his cousin the jackal, is very cunning. Let's see how cunning Lomri fooled Kauwa. Mrs. Kauwa the crow lived on a tree. Happy she was, wild and free. From her nest every morning flew Kauwa far and wide, sometimes just for fun, at times for food to find. From neem tree to mango, Kauwa loved to fly. Sometimes she just soared in the bright blue sky. On a fine April morning, after flying a lot, Kauwa sat near a house, feeling hungry and hot. She looked left and right, and up and down too, hoping she would find some rice, a fruit or two. Lucky was she, for some roti she saw, being made by a granny on a sunny veranda.
Ah, roti is my favorite, and it's almost lunchtime. I'll swoop down and get it, and eat it with some lime.
She looked left and right, and up and down too, hoping she would find some rice, a fruit or two. Lucky was she, for some roti she saw, being made by a granny on a sunny veranda.
Ah, roti is my favorite, and it's almost lunchtime. I'll swoop down and get it, and eat it with some lime.
So Kauwa glided down like a plane, picked a roti from the granny's vessel, and quickly flew towards her nest on the old tamarind tree. With the roti in her beak, Kauwa sat down to eat, when suddenly she heard the sound of someone's feet.
Is it a dog or a cat, or a bear, big and brown? Who can this be?
Thought Kauwa with a frown. From under the bushes she saw something come out. It was Lomri the fox with his long red snout. Now Lomri the wily had smelt the roti too. His mouth began to water and his hunger grew. Lomri looked up and saw that Kauwa had the roti in her beak. His sharp mind began to think.
A bird I'm not, so I cannot swoop or fly. But to get the roti, something clever I must try.
Lomri looked at Kauwa.
Such ordinary black and grey feathers, so plain compared to the parrot or the peacock.
And when Lomri thought of Kauwa's voice, he shuddered. How often had Kauwa's harsh cawing disturbed his sleep. But now this plain bird sat on the treetop with the roti in her beak. How was he to get it? Lomri was always full of ideas and tricks. He looked up at Kauwa with a sweet smile and said,
Good morning, O Kauwa. The best of all crows. I've heard so much about you. Why, the whole jungle knows. Your beauty, dear Kauwa, puts peacocks to shame. Black feathers, grey neck, Sundari should be your name. What a pretty face, and lovely eyes too. Kauwa, my dear, how can I describe you? Good morning, O Kauwa, the best of all crows. I've heard so much about you, why the whole jungle knows. Your beauty, dear Kauwa, puts peacocks to shame. Black feathers, grey neck, Sundari should be your name. Oh, what a pretty face and lovely eyes too. Kauwa, my dear, how can I describe you?
On the top of the tree, Kauwa heard her praises. She puffed up her chest and turned her head. She was very proud of her looks. She loved her black feathers and her sharp beak. Hearing Lomri praise her made her very happy. With the roti in her beak, she nodded at him. Lomri's eyes sparkled. His plan was working. Quickly, he continued.
And your voice is sweeter than the koels, they say. When you sing a song, trees dance and sway. Please, Kauwa, my friend, may I make a request? Sing for me a song, the one you like best. Open your mouth, let the sweet music flow. Come, Kauwa, sing a song, whichever you know.
Kauwa blushed with pride. She smiled and thought to herself,
sweeter is my song than the koel's coo coo coo. Once Lomri hears it, he'll dance to its tune.
So without thinking, Kauwa closed her eyes and began.
Sa.
But before she could sing,
Re ga ma pa.
down from her beak fell the roti in Lomri's paw. Poor Kauwa, not knowing that the roti had fallen from her beak, she kept on singing.
Sa sing the sunflowers, rearing out the red roses. Ga giggle the gulmohars, mama mar the marigolds. Pop, pop the pretty poppies, da dance the dahlias, me not the neem flowers, sarigama padanisa.
When the song ended, she opened her eyes, hoping she would see Lomri clapping. But instead, Lomri was eating the roti that had fallen from her beak and was smacking his lips. Looking at Kauwa, he sang.
Kauwa, you silly crow, how could you believe me? You and sing well. Hee 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 hee. Kauwa, you silly crow, how could you believe me? You and sing well. Your voice is like the noise stones and empty vessels make. You and the donkey Thundu, a perfect duet would make.
So saying, Lomri ran away. Kauwa flew behind him, but Lomri hid in the bushes, and Kauwa came back empty-beaked. Poor Kauwa. See how she was deceived by flattery? Lomri had not only taken away Kauwa's favorite lunch, he had also made her look foolish. Kauwa flew back to the window of the house where she had found the roti. Lucky for her, the granny had left the rotis uncovered on the veranda. Kauwa picked up a roti and flew back to her nest in the old tamarind tree, determined not to be fooled again.
Sing the sunflowers, ring out the red roses, giggle the gulmohars, mama the marigolds.
Sing the sunflowers, ring out the red roses, giggle the gulmohars, mama the marigolds. Pop the pretty poppies, dance the dahlias, me know the deep flowers. Sing the sunflowers, ring out the red roses, giggle the gulmohars, mama the marigolds. Pop the pretty poppies, dance the dahlias, me know the deep flowers. Sarigama padhanisa.
Good morning, Kauwa, the best of all crows. I've heard so much about you, why the whole jungle knows. Your beauty, dear Kauwa, puts peacocks to shame. Black feathers, grey necks, Sundari should be your name. Oh, what a pretty face and lovely eyes too. Kawa, my dear, how can I describe you?
Tossing the sunflowers, rearing out the red roses. Gaggle the gulmohars, Mar the marigolds. Pop the pretty poppies, da dance the dahlias, me not the neem flowers, sarigama padanisa.
Kawa, you silly crow, how could you believe me? You and sing well. Kawa, you silly crow, how could you believe me? You and sing well. Your voice is like the noise tones and empty vessels make. You and the donkey thundu, a perfect duet would make.
Welcome to my jungle. I am Karadi the bear. Stories and adventures with you I will share.
Welcome to my jungle, the stories I will share of antelopes and alligators, jackals here and there. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
I'll tell you about monkeys, lions fierce and strong, crows and owls and other birds, reptiles short and long. I'll tell you about enemies, greed and jealousy. I'll tell you about friendship, love and harmony.
I'll tell you about monkeys, lions fierce and strong, crows and owls and other birds, reptiles short and long. I'll tell you about enemies of greed and jealousy. I'll tell you about friendship, love and harmony. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. From all these tales we discover through all our jungle friends, the wit and ageless wisdom, the advice that they lend. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na